What's up, y'all? It's your girl Englewood Barbie, and we here at the Brunch, keeping Black History alive 365 days out the year.
What up, though? I am Pha'Tal, I am Englewood, I am Chicago. I am not a politician. They call me the mayor, though. Do the right thing, get your mind right, be dangerous, think outside the block. We here right now at the Brunch. You dig?
Hey, this is Early Walker here. I am at 1390 The Brunch Bunch. Tune in now. Stay tuned.
I want to start out with congratulating you on your 6th center. We saw you on Instagram. You cut the ribbon and you opened your doors to those who had no doors. So let's talk about now 6 of them. That's amazing. Did you ever think that that was going to happen?
Actually, I thought I would have 10.
Oh,
that was my goal.
Okay, well, it's not too late. You know,
I'm not gonna stop
there.
Until
You
I
go.
get it. When I first originally opened my first safe house, I was just bored. COVID had just happened. People were losing their jobs. And I was on the phone with my friend, and I was telling her, like, I think I'm just going to make a post and go grocery shopping for a couple of families. Just out the blue. She was like, what? I was like, I don't know. I mean, people losing their jobs. The kids got to eat. Like, I'm just going to sponsor 12 families today. So I did it. And it was, like, the gratitude that the people had for me when I came to their door. Like, some of their kids was like, Englewood Barbie, and I'm like, how you know me? And they was like, remember when you had your celebrity basketball game? I sent you a video and you reposted it. I'm like, well, now I'm in your house. And she was like, can we make another video? And it was just like the love and the appreciation, and then from me being not on the outside looking in, but just knowing that so many people was going without, I was like, I gotta do more. Like, I gotta be able to do this more. So I don't know. I was like, everybody kept saying, stay safe, stay safe, stay safe. So why don't I open a safe house where I can make sure that families can get food every day or twice a week? At the time, it was just twice a week. And I could pass out free face masks and gloves. And so when I opened my first safe house in May, that was the goal. And once I seen how successful it was, I was like, this is just not enough. People need to be able to experience what I'm doing in Englewood all around the city of Chicago, because the entire city is suffering. Even though I don't got no money, but I can find some. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, can you find some money.
I can find some to do this. And then, you know, Virgil, I always pronounce his name wrong, and I told him that I pronounced his name wrong and he don't care, so I might say it wrong today, but that's my dog. Virgil reached out to me on Instagram. You know, I own a cleaning business, and I tell people this story all the time because it's the truth. I was literally cleaning the toilet when Virgil reached out to help me with the safe houses. And he slid in my DM and he told me to call him, and I was just like, this guy named Virgil wants me to call him. And my friend was like, girl, that is the Virgil. I'm like, All-White Virgil? Like, yeah. I'm like, that's All-White Virgil in my DM. So I called him, and he's just like,
that's the Virgil.
The Virgil, man.
You know, whenever you put the in front of somebody's name.
So then he was just like, man, I love everything you're doing, and, you know, I want to help you. And I was just like, okay, I don't know how to ask for the big bucks, so I'm just like, oh, well, you can, you know, buy some shirts and help me feed the friends. It's $130 a night. And my friend like, no, you need to tell them the numbers for the safe house. And I'm thinking, like, I don't even know the numbers. So then I did them, and I told him, he was just like, okay, give me till this weekend. I'm like, this coming is Friday.
It was Wednesday, right?
Like, well, yeah, right. It was Wednesday. I'm like, this coming weekend? And he was like, yeah, so.
And then it all happened from there.
And he raised $187,000. And 27 days later, I had opened up 5 safe houses.
Wow. And
I was just like, I'm a great example of the vision with no money. I always knew what to do. I just could never do it because I didn't have the financial support. So
well,
once
you know, the Lord always
it,
puts you where you're supposed to be, and he puts the people in place. $187,000 is nothing to sneeze at. But it's also what you do with it. When you are provided a vision, he will provide provision for you, and that's what Virgil represented. Now, I know we got other guests in the building, but your story is compelling, and I don't want to stop here for now. We're going to pause in a second, but you started the movement Hugs No Slug, but did you think that you could really stop the violence, or how did that manifest into what you're doing today?
Actually, I felt like if I could be annoying enough to tell people to put the guns down, then eventually somebody would listen. Like, when I first originally made the shirts, I'm just like, if somebody got in line behind me and was reminded that the kids want to grow up, put the guns down, maybe they'll think about what they was just finna do. That was my mindset in the beginning. My mindset was just to curve it. I know I couldn't stop it, but I felt like if I could just put more positive stuff in the community where these negative things always happen, they wouldn't have the time or the opportunity to do it because it'd be too much love happening.
Who are the friends, Barbie? I'll say Aleta.
The friends are my people that live under the viaduct on 51st and Wentworth. Other people call them homeless. I would never call them that because I know them. And calling them homeless places them beneath me. Calling them my friends places them beside me. And I just think that it's disrespectful and derogatory to identify anybody by their situation. Just like if you was ugly, what if I said, "What's up, ugly," instead of at what your actual name was if I knew it? You know, and people think that because it's the societal norm that they have to continue to say homeless because that's just what people do, when I'm focused on changing the narrative.
There you go.
The goal for me is to show people why you don't have to use that terminology to identify with these people. These people are regular people. Majority of them are your elders. You don't even know their situation. But you reminding them that they're only that when you say the homeless. I'm going to feed the homeless. Like, this your charity. Like, this what you plan to do for Christmas. But don't you need to eat every day?
Yeah.
Don't you need love every day?
I love
Now,
the way
I love
you
that.
changed that whole narrative.
But for the peoples, because we preparing for the show, and so the narrative, and we had somebody on yesterday who said they didn't like the term feeding the homeless. They believed it should be serving the homeless. Now you said
That's
the friend.
terrible too.
Right, I know, right, but you know that's a whole nother comment. But you said the friends are under the viaduct on 51st and Wentworth. But are the friends a universal word for anybody that's displaced and don't have a home?
I would never call anybody homeless. So
Okay.
yes, I'm moving for it to be world renowned. Like, I don't care who you are, what level you are, what's your status. You could be the president of the United States of America. If you want to meet me and you say, "Oh, Englewood Barbie, I love everybody. I hear what you're doing in Chicago with the homeless," I'm not coming. I'm not talking to you. I don't want the award. The treasurer of Maria Pappas gave me an award last year. And she said, "Oh, we love everything you're doing with the homeless." And on my award it said service to the homeless. And I told her I didn't want it to change it. And she did. And I feel like that's a respect thing. Like, I respect them. If y'all want to deal with me, y'all going to respect them through me or just leave me alone altogether.
Now, I love that. Now, I do love that. I do. But let me ask you this question. If you had an opportunity and they said, "Hey, Englewood Barbie, we want to give you $1 million to service the homeless."
I don't think she's going to take it.
You gonna? But will that help or hurt?
Let me tell you something. Money ain't everything. Integrity is.
That's
so if
it.
you're going to be able to, if you think $1 going to change what I stand for, then I don't need no money.
I love it.
And that's the truth. I just turned down a TV show yesterday on one of the biggest networks
I heard.
in the world because they just would not stop saying it. And they even said, "Well, we don't have to say it in a text message, but we can't stop them from saying it on the show." And I said, I gracefully bowed out. I don't want to do it. I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I can't tell you, y'all can call them homeless. And then everybody else in my immediate circle, everybody that know me know that I don't like it. And I ain't going to accept it from nobody. So if y'all do it, I'm going to leave. You know what I'm saying? If y'all be like, "Well, Aleta feeds the homeless," I'm just going to leave because at this point it's disrespectful. It's not an honest mistake anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You
you've
have
made
No,
your
I
point
love it.
very clear.
And you know what? And what I will say about that, and people that don't agree with it, that's on them, you know. But we as people have to understand, we have to stand for something or we'll fall for anything. And so you're standing for it. And
we don't want you to leave.
And we don't want you to, to stop. You're doing amazing work.
Yes.
I am a West Sider through and through. I don't get past Roosevelt often, but I've supported. I sponsored a night with you before in 2019 because I love what you do, and so I follow you. And I know we got other great people, not just Englewood's finest, not Southside finest, not Westside finest, but Chicago's finest in the building.
Yes, and you know what? Whenever you leap out on faith, which each one of you have leaped out on faith, and so then the gods just grace you and put you on the pathway to progress, and then you bless people. It's that guerrilla faith. Come through, Dietrich Haddon. Let's do it. It's Inspiration 1390.
I'm an advocate. I advocate for my community, for my people. But if you're going to call me an activist, I want you to call me an economics rights activist. Because I'm activating money, economics. Because being broke ain't going to change nothing. Being broke don't fix nothing. That's why it's called broke. But I love that your stance, right? I love that you're going to, and keep that. But then the challenging question is, what if you could. What if?
Will you stop trying this lady?
No,
it's fine.
No.
She ain't doing
Would
it.
you be quiet? Look, they said they're gonna give me a shirt that said, "Would you be quiet?" Because I said so much. But no, now if I own, I'm rich. And I'm gonna be really rich one day. I mean, you know.
You too?
Yeah, we all right there. Listen.
I'm already rich. I just ain't got all my money. So
Hello,
I'm you.
because our father is rich in houses and lands. He owns. I can't get nobody else. I ain't gonna preach. But here's the point: when I'm rich and I own a high rise in downtown Chicago, and I say Aleta, I want to give you the Sears
hold on, let me
Tower
ask her.
to house all of the homeless. You would still just be like, no.
I would.
Okay.
First, I would try to have a conversation.
Oh, you want to say it on the air?
Explaining that.
No,
I would appreciate if you wouldn't refer to my friends
But we would
as
give
the
it to
homeless.
her.
Right.
Now, if you would like to give me this building to service my friends, and that's on paper, then I accept it. If not, if you want to call them homeless, then I'll just decline it.
I got
It's
you.
not the only building.
Well, that's why I'm just asking. Look, I'm a devil's advocate sometimes. You know,
I look his ass.
Just respecting, educating. Like,
yeah, but that's why you
Excuse
change
me,
the
one
brain,
second,
you
Marcel.
change the behavior. No, I'm just.
Oh, you can do it.
No, I know her.
I was just
Good.
keeping it.
No,
I was
no.
just keeping it.
No,
Don't
I
Do
got.
Englewood, because ain't no offense.
No, I'm so excited y'all here, and you both have been here before.
Yeah.
Look, I was
It's been a
going.
long
Look, I
time.
had to check my
When we were in
cash
our
app.
other
Like,
studio,
I
both of
think
you
I
were
did
with
sponsor
Nat.
night.
That was a long time ago.
It was.
But no, I'm
3
just
years
asking
ago.
because sometimes I think, and we can. It'll be a whole nother, but I do want to keep this combo going. I love your stance, and
Well,
don't let
just
nobody
make sure
change.
that you help him with, instead of getting all this game from me. Make sure you gonna help me too.
Oh,
I can't tell you all the. I can't tell you
You
all
better
the
check
songs.
your cash app. I sponsored the night one night, look, and I just went through the records to make sure before I said it. I'm like, I think I sent $130 one night. It was December 4th, 2019. Cash app just no, but you know,
You look up to date.
no, you know, because I used to drink a lot. I don't drink no more Facebook. But my memory can be a little rough. But I remember one time just seeing you, and I think I hit you up and said, how much for a night? And people tell you, I really don't do nothing south because it's enough that got to be done on the west side.
That's true.
In
Wherever
my
you
mind.
at.
So, I just, try to stick to my people.
That's the west side over there.
Yeah,
They always
straight
want to
west
keep
side.
us
90.
separated.
But see, but that's a combo.
It's
We gonna have.
Chicago.
Listen,
Chicago's fine.
when I needed a tow, who I called? Early. And there's a bunch of tow companies on the west
What makes
side.
you so special? He ain't come for me.
No, it's the west side.
He didn't come, he sent somebody. Let me say that. The truck just said WW. I was looking out the window like, is that early? No, that wasn't him. But
Tried to send somebody.
no, but he definitely took care. But we got to be united as black people, period. Because we all.
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
Though. It's a mindset.
But when you change the brain, you change
That's why
behavior.
you gotta think outside the block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you on the
Great
south
name,
side,
too.
Armika, right? I'm talking my people on Facebook. They they used to be on my side, but they all south siders, I guess. 'cause
Well, Earl's from the west side.
I just heard on the way here. I had the privilege of riding with the
But guess
one and
what?
only
The south
Pen.
side is the ones that get them.
But the south
Wait a
side
minute.
has become
Hold
more
tight.
violent.
Hold tight.
Southsiders right here.
The
I got-
south side has become more violent than the west side in the last 10 years.
Oh.
Have you known?
It's
Have you
been
noticed
more
that?
violent.
I'm from
You
LA.
know what?
Yeah, right.
From the real west side.
No, I'll say this, and this is my last south side, west side, right? When you think south side, west side, you got to remember, you can put the west side on the south side 5 times because you all have more land mass than we don't. We got a little box. So when we doing all that west side, y'all got Englewood, Bronzeville, Roseland, you got Chatham, you got all these. We got
Peel Hill.
the west side. That's it.
And y'all don't have no beach in Englewood in the house. Mr. Pha'Tal himself, also known as thinking outside the block.
And he's born, raised, and still living in Englewood. Pha'Tal is truly a part of the lifeblood of the Englewood community. Pha'Tal has dedicated himself to the well-being, safety, and livelihood of Englewood in all types of ways with a focus on youth. Through Think Outside the Block, he hosts several large youth community events, from bike tours, which I've seen on Instagram and think so dope, roller derbies, community parties for youth to take part in bonding and productive activities. Under the Englewood Quality of Life plan, He leads the Englewood Public Safety Task Force. He's also the coordinator of the Community-Based Crime Reduction Initiative funded by the Department of Justice, where he works alongside stakeholders, local businesses, and organizations. Let's give a warm brunch welcome to the Mayor of Englewood, Pha'Tal.
Yeah.
Pha'Tal, thank you so much. You are a frequenter to the brunch bunch.
Yeah.
We're so glad to have you back.
It's been a while, but we're glad to have you, brother. You know what? Off air, I just said it, but I want to publicly say this. The three people we have in this studio are three phenomenal people doing phenomenal work. And I say it every day. If you ever in a position of leadership and, just working with the community, it can be draining, but you all make it happen. So, Pha'Tal, Think Outside the Block says so much in just his name. The youth you serve a lot of the time are set up to not even think outside the block. Yeah. So it's not just a play on words, but a very literal mission. Why are our kids ending up in a place where they're not thinking outside the block? And based on your work, what gets youth to start thinking outside the block?
I think it's just important for us influencers, the adults, everyone to just play our role, to do our part, to expose our youth to opportunities that they may not even know exist. Often, I give you an example. I see so many young people with iPhones, with the latest technology. They take pictures, they can do filters, they can edit videos, but most of them don't even know that that's a real skill that they can be paid for. Mm-hmm. So it's important for just to even show them or to let them know or put them in position to create currency, so to create their own opportunities. And that's just really the thing. A lot of our youth are struggling with what they're gonna eat. They're in survival mode. And so when you go outside and you're thinking of what I'm gonna eat tonight, or it's cold outside, I need a coat, you probably willing to do whatever it takes to take that risk or take that chance, risking your life or risking your freedom to eat or, to not freeze. So it's, I just pretty much just stepped up to the plate and committed myself to being a person that I feel like I needed growing up before I decided to take the wrong path.
Well, you did and are doing an amazing job. And just to have that kind of courage to go and be a part of the community-based crime reduction initiative that is actually funded by the Department of Justice. A lot of the work that people do out here in the communities has no budget, and therefore it gets interrupted. So consistency is the key. But as you try to build a better relationship with law enforcement and then show the youth in the neighborhoods that law enforcement can be your friend, and I'm going to put that in air quotes because sometimes they cannot. And to make that distinction is amazing. But what are the issues that you see in law enforcement relationships with the community that you would ideally like to bridge that gap between community relations and law enforcement relations?
Well, first, the name of the initiative is Time 2136. Time is an acronym for This Is My Englewood, and 2136 represents the zip codes from both sides of the community. I'm actually coordinating this initiative for an organization by the name of Teamwork Englewood. When the reality is there's a lot of talk around defunding the police and that we don't need the police, but the reality is that until any of that happens, they're still here and they're still a part of the community, and they can make life uncomfortable or,
better or worse.
Yeah. So how do we begin to even have that conversation on while they are still in play, what does better policing look like in our communities while they are a part of the community? Some of the things that I organize just creates an opportunity for officers to be able to see some of those young men or young women and have a positive interaction with them. Therefore, if there was a time where they actually was caught doing something or bumped into them, and they would it will provide an opportunity to give one of the young men a pass or one of the young women a pass because a relationship has been created. Yeah. So, like for instance, Rolling Peace, the bike ride that I organize. Some officers come, they help the youth put air in their tires, do different things, fix flats. But in that moment, there's a conversation that happens where that officer is familiar now with that young man, and the incident actually occurred where both one of the young men from the community and the officer told me that they had a run-in, and they actually, gave him a pass. So just to be able to create those spaces where officers are not just coming into our community and like looking to play cops and robbers and lock up the bad guy, but relationships are actually being created.
And that's important,
Yes.
particularly when you're talking about restoration of relationships that are so fractured right now. We have to start having the conversations of intentionally stitching these relationships together if we're going to survive. So hats off to you on what you are doing. It's amazing.
Mr. Mayor, listen, you know what? I suffer from PTSD. And that's not, I'm not a Army veteran. I suffer from being, unfortunately, harassed by the police. I just had so many run-ins, and people like, why you keep going to jail? You out here, but it's just happened, right? And so you're bridging that gap. You're working. Now the question I have, and it's on the paper, but I had to change it up because we live this, so I don't have to look at the paper. Now the question I have, the question was, why? What do you think are the roots of the violence in the community?
Did you just look at the paper?
Well,
yeah.
Would you be quiet? Listen, I'm trying. But now, what do you believe the roots of the violence are, and how do we bridge this gap with the community? It's a twofold question.
I think there's no one solution, right? I think I look at it like I'm making a comparison to basketball. I think we all individually have our calling and our purpose, right? And but everybody together collectively, we work as a team. So only one person could bring the ball up. We need somebody to play defense, to rebound. We need a shooter. So the fact of the matter is, if a leader decides to feed the community, if Brother Early decides to fund the food, if I say I'm gonna take the young men that's on the corner right there, and whatever they may be doing that's negative, calm them down and talk to them. Whatever that is, we all played a role in making whatever the goal was happen. So I think that there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of past trauma. There's a lot of trauma that hasn't been identified that a lot of us that come from communities like Englewood don't even know exist. People don't even know that, like, when we stand if we standing outside just having a conversation and the car roll past and everybody turn and look at the car, that's a sign of trauma, right? And so, like, just to be able to identify those things and to work towards solutions, and the self-hate and the poverty, all of those things play a major part in the violence.
So
you play your position very, very
yes.
well.
But I'm cutting you off. I know it's your day, but I'm stepping right in.
Do your thing.
With you on the Public and Safety Task Force, now the question is, because you all are working with, Aleta has her population, the Friends. You have the youth. And Early is just, funding the movement. Listen, he making it happen. But for the young people in the community that are like, we don't mess with the police.
Yeah.
How do you bridge that gap, and how do you say, hey, we need to make this work?
So it's really just understanding the thought that, like, I look at it like this: if there was a room, like, just say sitting in this table right now, right? If we were the decision makers, and there was 1,000 people outside that we can't hear, and they screaming and throwing oranges and bananas at the window, like, the fact of the matter is, if there's nobody sitting at this table that represent them people outside, they gonna get the short end of the stick anyway. So it's really just trying to get people to understand that we got to be at the table at some form, some capacity. Somebody got to be at the table where decisions are being made. Yeah. And so that's really how. And once somebody's at the table that has a respected voice, then that person can advocate for the larger.
Yeah. Now, if you're not at the table, you on the menu.
I want to talk about that table. because at the table is Lori Lightfoot. She's our mayor. Now, this is for either one of you all. If you had the opportunity to sway an official's position, what would be the recommendation that you would give to the mayor and how these bridges can actually be formed in the community?
I would tell her to use some of that money that she's using to fund the police to put back into these poverty-stricken communities, to put back into these Chicago public schools. Instead of closing 4 schools to put 1 up. Why does the police need so much money when kids don't even have after-school programs? That's why they're not going to school, because they don't even know how to do the work. Because they don't have, the teachers are quitting and not coming to school, or because they underpaid and overworked. You know, the money need to be allocated appropriately, and I don't feel like that's happening because the people that's in position are not respecting the struggle. And the struggle is real. And people get tired of knocking on doors, and when they start kicking them in, y'all start locking them up. And that's not the solution. The solution can't always be jail. The solution got to be resources. The solution has to be time. The solution has to be financial. And it's not happening. You can't get in these press conferences and tell us what you're going to do and then don't do it. Stop turning your back on us. Open your door and come outside and get in these communities yourself so you can see what we're going through, so you can see what we're dealing with, what we up against. You're not going to understand until you're experiencing it to some extent yourself.
Yeah.
That's why even, and not to just keep going, but like, even when the Friends was being disrespected by the police, the police wouldn't let them in a police station because they was smelly, you know, and it was negative 16 degrees. But that was a warming center. But the police, it's a warming center legally, like you got to let the people in, but the police refused to let them in. So I told the Friends that I would sleep under this viaduct with them until I could get them back into the police station. And I slept under that viaduct with them for 7 days until I was able to get them their rights. They have the right to be safe. They have the right to be warm in this particular police station in 2nd District. But the police wasn't doing it because they had power. So sometimes you have to take the power away from the people that's in control and put it back in the community. And the only way to do that is to listen, to pay up, and pay respect. And that's not happening.
Absolutely.
I would definitely say, just to add to Aleta's point, that paying attention, listening to the people, really having somebody, if it's not you yourself, having somebody on the ground in the community, seeing what the people saying, seeing what the people need, seeing what the people want. Definitely figuring out how we create budgets to allocate some of this funding for prevention instead of waiting till a problem actually happens, then everything is shut down. I think about a lot of these meetings that I'm in geared around the carjacking, right? Now, a few years ago, I was in a meeting with a lot of different violence prevention groups, and I spoke to a few different people around. They only had opportunity for youth that was either victims of gun violence or perpetrators of gun violence, right? But me knowing as a kid, it took a long time before I was ever granted to, law enforcement or got arrested or caught a charge. So me knowing that there's a whole bunch of youth that just haven't been caught yet. So how do we provide this opportunity? How can we give them something to do now before that even happens?
Preventive measures.
Exactly.
Let's be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly.
And I want, somebody posted, one of the 3 posted when they put this event up, that Black History Month doesn't end in February. Exactly. And we're celebrating Black History right now with you all. We celebrate on the show 365 days a year. But I will say, when you look at history, the civil rights movement, Dr. King didn't start it. Everybody played a role in the civil rights movement, but they chose him to be the voice and the face of it. And I'm so excited that we got 3 people up here making it happen.
Yes.
Because it can't happen alone. And we also have Chicago's secret angel brother, Early Walker, which I just found out. He's not just a secret angel, he's a comedian too, because he's so funny. He was cracking jokes on the way here. But Early is, constantly on the front lines, creating positive experiences for people who are enduring or have endured recent hardships, from giving turkeys to families on Thanksgiving, providing water for Flint, providing resources after the Houston hurricane, or letting a cancer-stricken teen attend prom. Early Walker is dedicated to serving the people. He is also the founder of W&W Towing, that started out with a single-use tow truck and now operates a fleet of trucks. And I know he tired, because I was tired watching his video. He just got back from driving to Texas to help because of what was happening with the snow down there. Let's give a warm brunch bunch welcome to Early Walker.
I love the name Secret Angel because he does move very stealthily, but people know where he is because his impact is felt, not seen. It's felt.
And the woman who gave him the name is dope herself.
Yes.
And that's none other than our girl Pam Blackman, who was working my nerves this morning. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Facebook Live after the show. But Brother Earl.
Shout out to my manager.
Look.
Pam is Englewood Barbie manager.
Pam is my fake manager. You know, I always tell people that's my manager too. Oh, she be managing though. I tell you that much. But Brother Early, you have been doing some phenomenal work. I told them on commercial, I'm an economics right activist. And Early is he understands economics. And Early, what inspired you to start your towing company first? Because sometimes people look at towing as a nuisance, but you saw it as a way to create something positive for people. Why?
Well, if your car is parked somewhere and then you come out. Like
Hello, I said
and it's gone. It is a nuisance.
Oh, that's funny. So honestly, I towing was not in my life, my plans, any of that. I mean, honestly and truly, I used to own a car dealership, and I got tired of paying the tow truck to bring my cars to my dealership, and so in return, I bought the tow truck. I said, I ain't gonna pay nobody to drive this. I'm gonna learn how to do it. And it just kind of one thing led to another. And I wound up actually, liking it. So I wound up selling the car dealership and going full force with it. But yeah, I mean, I'm what you call a serial entrepreneur. I own several businesses, and I love using my business to help the community. A lot of times you'll see individuals out here that are business owners and they don't do anything for their community with their dollars, and that's something that I don't like. I stand against that, and so I try to set the tone, for business leaders. I mean, because that's really what they're supposed to be. I mean, a lot of them don't use the dollars that they're making from the community for the community, and so that pretty much is the reason why I take the stance that I do.
Well, that's not your mantra, because wherever you see, and it doesn't have to be, geography is no barrier for you. Wherever there's a void in whatever city, whatever state, you are filling that void. But I want you to tell us about your work that you just recently did in Houston during the hurricane.
So I received several inboxes of individuals from Texas, and then actually after the fact from Memphis, Tennessee, about what was going on down there. A church actually reached out to me, a huge mega church in Dallas reached out and was like, hey, we're going through. If you guys have any resources, send them this way. So I started a water drive, which turned into a non-perishable food item drive as well. We were able to raise, our goal was to do 3 trailers. We were able to raise 4 trailers, which was
But those weren't 18-wheelers. Those were more like 60-wheelers. When I was looking at the video, I'm like, where did he get those trucks from? They must have custom-made these trucks.
Yeah, so shout out to Perry Mandela Custom Trucking. They actually donated the trucks, donated the drivers to transport the stuff down. When they heard about what we were doing, he said, hey, I want to donate the trucks so we can get the stuff down there. So I was definitely excited about that. And then in the midst of this, we had some college kids from Lemoyne College, the only HBCU college in Memphis, Tennessee. So shout out to you guys. Some of the students started jumping on like, hey, we need help too. So we ended up actually adding them to the list, which was super awesome. I mean, so we dropped the truckload off there, left from there, and then headed to Dallas. And so everything was great. I mean, we were able to help a lot of people, and that's what it's about.
So through the I'm telling you don't shoot, you don't subscribe to the no snitch mindset, how did you get to a place where so many people have the no snitch mindset, and when did you decide that it was important to take that formal stance against it, and why? Because I be telling people, if you see something, say something.
So honestly, I'm going to tell you what made me bring this about. it was when our baby started getting killed at a huge uprate. I mean, last summer it was ridiculous. I mean, you started seeing 1-year-olds getting killed more, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds getting killed more. And it got to the point where I got disgusted. So even with that, my initiative, I'm telling them, shoot, was, okay, let me bring some of these business owners that are in these communities, you know, on board, and let's start putting our money together, you know. And it started off as just reward money, but it started from that, and then it actually led to us actually trying to put dollars back into these communities, because a lot of times, I mean, these kids, they don't have no work, they don't have anything to do. I mean, we didn't have the pandemic, we didn't have COVID, you know, and so if I felt like, okay, if I can get some of these business owners in these communities where the stuff is happening to get involved, put their money up, you know, we can make some type of change.
Now, you know what? Bernie Mac, God rest his soul, has a great comedy set where he says he doesn't understand why people are in jail for not snitching. And he says, because I'm going to be in the courtroom with my hand raised. Like, it was him. He did it at this time. And I adopted that, because don't do nothing around me, because I'm telling. Listen. But
you know that works both ways.
Hey, that's fine, because I don't do nothing. I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. I can't get nobody to help me up in here.
Especially on Thursday nights.
And that's why I get these glasses on. No, but early, you doing great. You know what, Pam, you not on the show. Look at her, just take it off.
Don't do my
wait, I
Don't
forgot
do
who
my
I'm sitting
manager.
next to. Let me tap
Don't
him.
do my manager.
But nevertheless, early, you're doing great work with the Don't Sit. This show needs to be another 3 hours with you three here, because you all are doing some very impactful work. So I got a question for everybody that I want you all to ask across the board. One thing, if it was one thing that you needed done that you know could affect change across the community, what would that one thing be? Anybody jump in?
I would change my co-host.
Yes, because I can't wait till the show is off, because I'm taking 2 weeks off at the end of the month. I didn't tell you yet, but I'm telling you. Early?
Well,
It don't matter. Whoever bad hit my hand.
I heard that solo.
I know when you talk. Oh, go ahead.
I just was gonna say, we definitely need our own community center in Englewood. I know I've been myself and some more. I know Aleta has been opening up safe houses and trying to just provide spaces. Like I think that there's a lack of spaces where our youth feel safe and they can do recreational things. I look at buildings like the what's the building on 119th?
The Croc Center.
The Croc Center.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about, like, for me, it's Ogden Park, right? I host most of my events there, but just having somewhere where our youth can experience so many different things and get some support around trauma and mental health resources. I just really think that's what it is. I know I've been like trying to see if we could activate one of the schools that's been closed. And I have a home that I recently purchased that we try and renovate
Yes, awesome.
And dedicate to the community as well. So we just need some more spaces for youth to be able to have something to do and create opportunities for them.
Repurpose some of these dormant
Yeah.
buildings that are out
That's just
here.
it.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. So that question is for everyone. So anybody else who has an answer, let's go, Englewood Barbie.
Well, the first thing I think that we all need to do as a whole is we need to start holding these elected officials accountable to the communities that they're elected to serve in, because they are getting away, basically, from doing their job. Just something as small as a pothole. If you go to Rogers Park, you're not going to see them Englewood potholes, because the people of Rogers Park is going to call the city and complain, and the alderman is going to jump right on it because it's a reflection of them. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. The aldermen need to be made to do their job. Secondly, I think that people that decide to do this quote-unquote charity work, the respect needs to be there. Like, if I want to come to Englewood, it would behoove me to reach out to people that's already doing the work in Englewood. If I want to go up north, just because I'm Englewood Barbie, I'm not going to think it's cool for me to go on the west side and just open up shop. I want to partner with people that's on the west side already doing the work.
Yep.
You know, if I
They know
want
the
to
terrain.
exactly, like that's how you grow. That's how a movement grows, when you connect with other people, like-minded individuals that's out here doing the same work. Bring the money to those establishments that's already existing. You know, instead of you being let's just say like if North Face wanted to donate $5 million to a black organization because of everything that's going on with George Floyd, they don't know who to go to. They need to go into the community and pull someone from the community. It doesn't have to be me or Pha'Tal or anybody doing the work and pour into those grassroots organizations, because we the ones on the front line. Yeah. We're not out here like Black Lives Matter when the camera's out here. We out here every single day. Every single day, risking our life for the people, teaching and educating the people.
You guys
with
make some
leading by example. So I think that it's important that when people trying to create infrastructure, that they pull from within the community, not from within themselves.
You all make some really good points. I hope you guys are listening out here, because we're going to hold you accountable for these points. For sure. Early, you the last one.
I'm going to say creating more jobs. And not just...
What kind of jobs?
And more trades. I think a lot of our kids, and I think that needs to be implemented into even educational. A lot of our kids are not deemed for college. And I think that needs to be recognized, because at the end of the day, you got landscapers, you got tow truck operators, you got stuff that they're not taught in school, but guess what? You can make a good living off of it, but it needs to be implemented.
I think that we should stop teaching them how to get a job and start teaching them how to become a business owner.
Hello.
That's the problem. We need to stop telling our kids, go to school so you can get a good job. Go to school and think now.
I agree.
Think now on what you want to be. You don't got to wait till you go to school and get a degree to become anything, because I don't have a degree, and I can get in some rooms that people with degrees can't get in.
Talk about
it. I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
When I was in Dallas, I thought it was so dope. They had an entrepreneurship class, and I literally was like, "That's what needs to be taught here."
Well, you know what? It's every side. Let's not say, because I don't have a college degree, and I think I've done very well as a businessman.
Yes, you have.
But I think we need to say, hey, because everybody can't be a business owner. I hated when my mother used to say, be a chief and not an Indian.
Yep.
But if everybody chiefs, what are Indians? So we gotta have both. We gotta have them both. So we gotta be able to educate on all.
That's for the person. That's for the person to understand what their strengths and weaknesses are. Like for me, I tried to work jobs. I could work a job if I want to, but I don't want to. I don't think you could. I don't want to overhead. I did.
You too strong, but look, you just strong.
I was the manager, so.
Well, it's almost time for us to get out of here, y'all. This has been excellent. We got to have you back. But if it's one thing that you could leave a resonating statement for the listeners today, I want you to do it right now. Pha'Tal, it's on you.
I want to leave everybody with a year ago, March 2nd, I lost my daughter. So her name was Favor. So every Friday, I'm encouraging everybody in honor of my daughter. I deem Favor Friday. So I ask everybody to be kind, be nice, make a nice gesture, do a good deed, whether it's small or big. If it's letting somebody in line get past or buying somebody coffee, just be
do
nice.
Something nice.
Favor Friday.
Englewood Barbie.
And this gonna sound funny, but it's because y'all don't understand it. But I want everybody to adopt being a gangster. And being a gangster means following through on everything that you believe in, standing on your ground and seeing stuff all the way through.
Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry, Early, but we gonna write it and put it on Facebook.
Early gonna be on Facebook.
Yeah, listen, you all keep doing what you're doing. We're better off for having you in the world. And believe us, thank you so much. We always want to encourage you to stay optimistic. We'll see you Monday, but have a blessed, favorable, magical weekend. Y'all, we out.
Early, what you got to say? Yeah, you on Facebook. We got an audience on Facebook, too. Go ahead, man.
Early said he got foul honey. Who need it? Early got foul honey for you. I don't care what you got going on. Early got foul.
You know what? I tell you what. I'm giving Favor Fave 500 today.
Favor Friday.
Period.
You can match it. You can beat it. You can do whatever you want to do with it.
I'm gonna try to catch the next one. Maybe next Friday.
Yeah. I went too. Man, you gonna do the next Friday?
I got on my phone and I gave Aleta some money too. Let me.